This question asks us to determine the monthly break-even point for this company using either unit sales or total dollar sales. But let's take a look at it both ways. So for the unit sales, the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out our unit contribution margin. And that simply is going to be the selling price of $240 per unit. And then we need to subtract from that the variable expense of $72 per unit. So we come up with a unit contribution margin of $168 per unit. Now the break-even point is simply the level of sales activity where we are just covering our fixed costs. So our fixed cost for the month is $372,960. And our unit contribution margin is $168 per unit. So plug that into the calculator, and we can see that the break-even point is 2,220 units. Now, if we want to determine that in terms of total sales dollars, there's actually a couple different ways that we could accomplish this. We're still trying to cover the same fixed costs, so the numerator of the formula does not change. What changes is that we need to divide this by the contribution margin ratio, which we don't know, but we can easily figure out. So for the contribution margin ratio, let's take our contribution margin per unit, and let's divide our selling price per unit. Okay? And I believe, if memory serves me well, that comes out to 70%. Which it does. Okay, so we've got a 70% contribution margin ratio. What that means is that for every dollar of sales revenue that this company generates, they are simultaneously generating 70 cents of contribution margin. And if we divide the fixed cost by that 70% contribution margin ratio, we can see that the company's break-even point will occur when we have just under $533,000 worth of sales revenue. Now, I'm a pretty big fan of double-checking things, so let's do this just for giggles. Okay, take that 2,220 units, which was our break-even point, and let's multiply that times the selling price per unit, and let's cross our fingers and write that correctly there first. Let's cross our fingers and hope that it equals the break-even sales that we just determined, which it does, so we can have a pretty high confidence level that we have the right answer here.